Hello, everyone. Welcome to Wonderland of Possibilities. I'm here with the lovely the Bogdan, which is the gift of God.
Hello everyone. Hello Venus. So wonderful to be with you in your morning, in my evening. What time is in the world? Are you watching us? Are you seeing this?
And welcome. Hello, Martin says hello. Hello, Martin.
Hello Martin. What time is in your weird cave?
He's close to you. I think he's like an hour or two different from you.
Yeah, I'm more to the east, so here is later. It's 1 hour later. Earlier, earlier. Yeah. Yeah.
So we'd like to say, well, welcome to all the weird ones, because only the weird ones were invited. So
Yeah.
if you are here or watching this in the future, then you are one of the weird ones.
Be at peace. Your secret is safe with us. It's like it's a closed club. We don't accept only weird invitations and weird appliances and weird members. So don't worry. None of the normal people will reach this part.
They won't come anywhere near it. Yes, it's true that. The ones that want to be normal, average, and real are staying far away from this live today.
And they are telling to other people, don't go there. This is where the weird ones, the layer of the weird ones. Be
Which is
aware.
why we kind of have this background, this mysterious background, where we're like, okay, so let's invite you to maybe come out of the dark. Maybe come out of being so mysteriously weird.
It's like, yeah. But have you ever judged about yourself that it's not normal? Did anybody told you that you are not normal? This is not normal.
Yes.
This is not normal. You should behave. You behave.
Behave. Yeah, I didn't get that as much, but I got right. I didn't not get that this isn't normal, but I felt very out of place because I was teased for my name very young. So
Really?
I was extremely tall even at a young age. So I was tall and my name was Venus. So yeah, I was teased a lot. So I tried a lot because of that to be very normal, to try to fit in, to be like everybody else.
So people have to look up to you even from a young age. So how does it get any better? Yeah.
Yeah, I was apparently not going to take the short gene. My mom was 5'2", and I'm 6'1". So
I don't know what this is, like 6152 in meters. It's
I
okay.
I don't know. It's quite a bit. It's like she comes up to about here on me.
Oh.
However you want to like take that.
I don't know. I've been told that stuff that I used to do, like it's weird, stop it, stop this is weird. Yeah. Like it's too different. You should adjust this, you should change this. Yeah. Don't you want to belong? Don't you want to be like the normal ones? Like my grandmother had a saying, like like don't you you should be like the baptized ones.
Wow.
don't don't behave like somebody who wasn't baptized. Like baptized people.
Well, I'm sure nobody out there has ever been told to stop being too much or stop being yeah, weird or different. Like try to fit in, try to be normal. what I think is funny too, if I look back at like my trying to fit in, there was a time where I wanted to like fit in with the goth crowd, with the goths with like the dark hair and the
Yeah.
and I wanted to shave my head and my mom wouldn't let me.
So I love it that you are trying to fit in to the weird ones. Like
With the weird ones. That's true. That's true. But then I realized, yeah, I probably shouldn't do that. So I started to go for the normal ones.
the athletes or the cheerleaders, no, the weird ones. They're not too weird, but weirder than the others.
Right.
Like I grew up in my country. I'm from Romania, so I grew up in in communism where um, we were building the new man. So the new man had it is like the collective character in a story, like the new man of our nation, who should be like this. And if you are not like this, now there, there is a story about the bed of Procost. You know the story about the bed of Procost, yeah? Like you should be exactly like this, and if you are too long, we'll cut the ends, and if you are too short, we'll elongate you so you fit exactly in this mold. So everybody should be the same, and we should step in the same way, and we should speak in the same way. What a life! Like,
Right. God, that doesn't sound fun at all. Like, yeah. And like, it's almost like, well, you said communist, but it's almost like the military, like that you have to be this clone, this military clone, and like everybody else. And how many choices do we try to make from other people's points of view? Like,
yeah.
oh, I can't date that person because that person isn't normal, so I need to date a normal looking person. Um, I remember dating a guy once that wanted to be the president of the United States. Let's suffice it to say, it didn't last very long because, oh my God, we like there like his family was like the perfect, like I couldn't handle it. I was just like,
You
you guys
didn't-
are.
yeah.
But
You're
we might be in a different state if I was actually the first lady.
yeah, you should have just constructed your CV in order to be. Uh, but if you look at the persons that we admire, like when you look at the, I don't know, let's see what, like the English royal family, yeah, and then which is the most loved one? Yeah, it's like it was the princess who didn't fit in. It was the princess who ran in a race. It was the princess who allowed herself to be different than all the other members of the royal family. Yeah, you look at the American presidents. Which are the ones that you like? The ones that are the same, and you have to learn like the first one is, the second one is only 40 something, so it's a young country, so it's easy to remember them all. Yeah, just a little over the pond humor, like.
It was a little rub just in case anybody didn't get that. Like, that's okay. We can't all be as mature as England or Europe.
But you look at John Fitzgerald Kennedy, not because he was like all the others, but all the ways that he wasn't like the others. Yeah, you look at the difference that they were. Yeah, like maybe it's better to learn the rules, to then be aware and proud when you break them, and when like uh, let your weird fly. And I love the name of your class, like Unhide Your Weird. Like how did you come up with it, and what are you looking at when you are inviting us to a place with that much vulnerability? Like okay, I can unhide my weird, like is this safe, but now how much can I unhide my weird, like.
Bogdan, please don't. I'm getting too
I can
hot.
be vulnerable, but how much? Let me control my vulnerability. Let me.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. Yep. And I'm guilty of that too. I mean, we all are, right? Because we all still want to be seen as normal. Well, the truth is I just recently did another talk to the entities. I've done a bunch of X-Men classes recently, and I did a talk to the entities class. And one of the gifts and capacities that I have is being a clairvoyant medium. I actually can see the spirit realm, and I have let it out occasionally that is a gift that I have, but I've never really truly said, you know what, this is just a capacity I have and a superpower, and I'm grateful for it, and I use it every day. And whereas before it was like, well, I kind of have this thing, but I pretend like I don't really have it, and then I don't really use it. So it's not actually true. And so that is something that I've always seen as weird, like to be able to see the spirit realm is weird. It's different, right? But at the same time, it's like I know that I'm actually more miserable when I'm ignoring my gifts and capacities, whatever they are. That's just one of them. But just when I acknowledge them, when I say, okay, this is something that I can do, then they get greater. My life gets greater. I get happier. And so I thought, well, how fun would it be to have a class where people could choose to unhide their weird, to let their freak flag fly, like let it all hang out.
It's their superpowers. Yeah.
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 And realize even in the sharing of that, or even the facilitation of bringing that to light, that you're actually not as weird or as fucked up as you think you are, because we all have something, right? Something that a capacity, multiple capacities. And if you hear other people having those capacities, then you go, oh, I remember a friend just even last week, I was talking to her about just really owning this gift that I have. And she goes, you know what? Back in the 90s, it was kind of a taboo thing. But nowadays, it's really not that weird. There really are a lot of mediums in the world. There's even TV shows about mediums, and people talk about ghosts all the time. So it's not as weird. And that's true. That's very true. And
Nobody,
yeah, go ahead.
nobody is running uh, towards you with pitch and forks and
Right.
let's start up a fire.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not as
What's this lifetime? Yeah.
right. Yeah, those other lifetimes. So which may be even why a lot of us do fear saying stuff out loud, is because of whatever happened in the other lifetime when you were a healer or an herbologist that changed people's lives, or like you could mix potions and make people fall in love, that was witchcraft instead of a capacity.
Can you imagine, like, Superman being hiding himself in a closet and crying like, "Why am I the only one who can fly? Why am I the only one? Why? Why?"
Why? Yeah, we don't really see that, do we? So,
Yeah.
and these classes are called X-Men classes because we all have X-Men capacities. A lot of us haven't owned it, or we're hiding it or pretending it's not there because it doesn't fit into the norm.
Yeah. Yeah. And like, for so long, we are encouraged to not to stand out in a wrong way. Like, you can stand out, like, have the biggest grade. You can have A++. This is the way that you can stand out. Yeah.
Right.
You can stand out, like, win the beauty pageant. You can stand out like this. This is the way that you can stand out. Like,
yeah.
Be the best at conforming to our norm. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, even Gary and Dane lately have been saying, you're choosing to be better than others, but not as great as you can be. So you're just better enough, or you're just talented enough, or you're just right. But it's like, but what if you could be exponentially greater at everything, and not to have it be a power over people, but to just be like, hey, this is what is possible. You can choose this too, right? An invitation. What's one of your superpowers, Bogdan?
Like, I cannot come up with a joke in any context. Like,
This is true.
I was judged for it. Like, such a long time, I was called like I'm immature, and you are not. You are so immature. Like, how can you laugh in a contest like this? This was something that was I don't know, told to me so many times, so many times, so many times. Like, yeah.
Yeah,
But
I mean, yeah, and how much people like, even I just invite everybody who's watching and listening now or later, like, look at your life and what is that one thing that maybe you did when you were a kid that somebody said you can't do that or that's not possible. Like Gary Douglas used to be able to like leave his body and like go watch television in the other room when his parent at night when he went to bed, his parents and his mom said you can't do that. And so then he stopped being able to do that because she said that's not possible. I
this is
know I had imaginary friends, but I didn't realize until I became a clairvoyant medium that, oh, they weren't actually imaginary, but because somebody told me they were imaginary because they couldn't see them. So it didn't make sense to them. And I'm like, I see all sorts of things. I used to have a miniature dragon that was one of my imaginary friends.
but we give to them the power to make us wrong. It's something that we empower them to do. Like,
Yeah.
we choose to make ourselves and our reality less. And, yeah, and what will it take for us to choose something different? So what you said earlier, like you are choosing to be better than others, but not as good as your
Not as
possibilities.
great as you. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like having a Ferrari stuck in the third gear, and yeah, we are struggling. We are struggling like the others. We are struggling like the others.
Right. Yeah. Or even first gear. I mean,
Yeah,
this, like this reality is even more geared towards hardship, struggle, suffering, and
you know the
what if,
joke with the light, the red light, and there is a Ferrari, a wonderful Ferrari, and there is a, I don't know, let's say a Volkswagen Polo over there, and the guy in the Volkswagen Polo gets his window down and calls out to the guy in Ferrari and said, "So, are you content with that car? Because I don't see many people choosing it. Are you content with your weird? So why are you so different? Like, why aren't you one of those? Why aren't you beige like all the others? Why are you orange? Why are you purple? Why are you different?"
I remember when I first started doing like live videos,
Yeah.
and I would record myself and then I would post it and then I would watch it and I was like, wow, my face is very expressive. And then I noticed over time, the more I was on video, the more I became like the same all the time. I can't be very expressive. I can't have my eyebrows going up like that all the time.
But
And
other capacity, yeah.
right, yeah, and I like I'm always moving. Like I'm like, and I know in normal they're like you're not supposed to move. You're supposed to sit still, and I'm like I like to move. So like, what if your body is always telling you or gifting you the ability to go, oh, here's a place where you're trying to be normal, but you can actually just let yourself be different. And um, yeah, I mean, what would the world be like if we just all just let it all go, and there was just no filters anymore? Like what this person can handle seeing. If they can't handle seeing it, and yet they can go away.
Yeah, you should first you should make a scientific study and publish it in a scientific magazine and have a scientific debate to see if it is a possibility, the possibility that is unique to you. If all the others would agree that you can choose the things that only you can choose.
Yeah, that sounds like fun. And Martin just shared a link to the event, so if you want to come play for Unhide Your Weird.
Yeah. And if it sounds like too dangerous and you can unhide like only part of your weird, like not all of it, like only a little step, it's only a beginning. Yeah.
It's okay. We'll let you come in and just do 10%. It's all right.
The first % of your weird, yeah. The ones that you already think maybe this will be accepted, maybe not, maybe this, maybe not, maybe this, maybe not. Should I try? Should I not? Should I try? Should I not? Just jump. Just jump. Yeah. And like I want to ask you something. Like when you started to notice things about you that you are capable of, and nobody else was talking about them.
Mm-hmm.
Did you try to come up with an explanation? Did you try to, or did you just shut them out? Did you try to normalize them? Or did you try, or this is something that we are not looking at?
Right.
Well,
Great question. Yeah. Well, so for me, when I became a clairvoyant medium, it was pretty much overnight when I was 30 years old. So, I mean, I know I had imaginary friends when I was a kid, but then of course that got squelched. And then I didn't have any other experiences until I was 30, other than maybe when I was tripping on acid. But also may not be your imagination, folks. Just telling you, like if you're tripping on mushrooms and acid and you're seeing things, might not be imaginary. Just saying. So, but for the first 3 years after that, I fought it. I was just like, I don't want this gift. Take it back. Give it to somebody else. There's no, I didn't even see it as a gift. I was suddenly like, I'm cursed. I'm cursed. I'm cursed. And I, interestingly enough, got more.
Why can I fly? Why me?
So but after 3 years, I started to grow more and more actually depressed. And I finally realized that I'm like, I think I really need to accept this and acknowledge this gift and capacity that I've been given, just so that I can have more joy and ease in my life. And that's what I did. I went on back then I didn't have access conscious tools. So I went on a vision quest and did what's the one where you sit in a teepee and bake yourself? It's, I forget what that's called. Like it's a really, really hot tent.
Like shamanic rituals or what?
Yeah, it's a shamanic thing. Yeah. Yep. And I was keeping being a clairvoyant medium for my mom, and my mom and I had always been close as I was growing up. So she thought something was really wrong. And then on the way home from this ritual, I decided to give her a call and say, hey, Mom, are you sitting down? And I have something to tell you. And, I just knew I needed to just let it out. I needed people to see it. I also created a series on my YouTube channel called The Entity Experiment. I highly recommend going and listening and watching to it. Maybe we can drop the link in here, but it's really my story and journey of the awakening that I went through.
Your unhiding of your weird.
Yes. It was the beginning of my unhiding of my weird. But then it's interesting. I shared that, and then I kind of went into hiding again. So it's like we lean in and we lean out, right? And then my mom was like, I guess some of it surprises me, some of it doesn't. Did you really think I wouldn't love you anyway? And I was like, yeah, I guess I did. I think that's where a lot of us go, is like, if I show all my weird, nobody's gonna love me, nobody's gonna accept me.
Yeah.
And actually, what if all the weird ones can be hanging out together.
Like as a species, we survived because we were different. Like you need the one who sees better, and the one who is stronger, and the one who has the capability of remembering all the places, and the one that, if we were all the same, maybe we wouldn't have thrived. And like this need to be the same, I think it's something that happened much later in our social evolution, in order to be much easy to be let's not say manipulated, let's say controlled. It's yeah, you should be in this way and not other ways. Like, and I'm looking at the things that are happening right now, like in Iran. Like people are it's not natural to be conformed to stricter and stricter and stricter and stricter rules. Somewhere along the line, something will break, something will boil, something will, like this tendency to make everybody the same, to put everybody in the same mold. I don't know any successful experiments, and yeah.
Yeah, and thank you for saying that, because I think that that's also true for the limitations and the box that you try to put yourself in. It will backfire on you. The more you're resisting who you truly are, the more you're going to be miserable. You'll be depressed. You'll be angry. You'll be like that kettle that boils and then blows up and like annihilates everybody, because you're like, fuck you, I don't want anybody near me.
Can you imagine like somebody who is very controlled and very polite and be like this for the most part of his life, and then one day just at the most polite table with the most correct plating, and he just explodes like, fuck you, everyone.
I hate you all. Yeah, right. So instead of setting yourself up to totally annihilate your whole family, maybe just start to acknowledge how weird you are. You're just different. And you're going to be way different than your parents and your family, because you chose that family coming in because you knew you could outcreate them. So, yeah. And thank you, Martin, for he put in the experiment, the entity experiment with YouTube playlist. So if it'd be fun for you, go check it out.
Like like this invitation to come out of hiding, come out of hiding, come out of hiding. It's something that like can be done because like you create a safe place for this choice to happen. And when you chose to come out of hiding, did you look for a safe place, or you just chose it?
I didn't. I just chose it, but I chose it for me. I mean, you guys don't have to expose your weird to everybody. You don't have, that's not what we're saying here. You don't have to be like, I want to tell everybody about everything. Some people can hear it, some people can't. But are you willing to own and acknowledge it for yourself? Like, I can fly, or I can levitate when I meditate. What can you do? I know everybody has different gifts and capacities. And I'll also challenge you to the one thing that maybe is a wrongness is one of your greatest gifts. Like the fact that my body always needs to move. Well, my body is just dissipating energy. What a great capacity that my body has. But I see everything now as a gift and a capacity instead of a wrongness. And I know that that's part of the X-Men classes, is really just helping us go, okay, if this wasn't a problem, what possibility could it be? If this wasn't a wrongness, what strength is it? What greatness is it? And get us into those questions.
Yeah. What's right about me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I used to know what another person is going to say. And I love those instances that I pick up the phone just before somebody would call, and I would know what. And I used to dismiss this like, oh, it's just because they are so predictable. It's just because I know them so much. It's just because, and I put it to something that my brain does. It's something that my brain does. It just calculates fast possibilities, and yeah, okay, sometimes I'm right, sometimes I'm wrong. And it took for me choosing X-Men classes to acknowledge that this is not something like that everybody does. It's not something that it's it's not a brain capacity. It's not something that like I was so good at math that and at physics that now I can do this.
Right. Yeah.
Because I'm in math in my high school, now I can do this.
I've had yeah, I've had somebody acknowledge me for being a spatial mathematician. So, but what that means is that I can look at a space and I can know exactly what's going to fit in that space. So if I look at a car, I can go, okay, I know exactly how many boxes you can get in there and all that stuff. That's not from math, like you said. That's not from measuring, and I can just see it. Like I can tell if a desk is going to fit in that area, or you're going to be able to get that couch up those stairs, like those kind of things.
How many bodies do fit in this trunk?
Yes, that too.
And where will you put the shovel?
So I don't think it'll be any fun at all. So
Yeah.
it'll be a very serious
If you
conversation.
need to have a serious evening, tomorrow is the day that you can choose it. Like, if you are on European time tomorrow evening, you can choose to be serious with Venus and appropriate.
Unhide your weird.
Yeah.
Or you can come and laugh about it and see how silly we've all been about all of it.
Yeah. Well, oh, I can fly. Why me? Why is me the one who flies?
I love you,
The
Bogdan.
pathetic Superman. Yeah, it should be a class like the pathetic Superman.
Okay, we're definitely doing that one next. Let's put that on our ideas list. Awesome. I love it. Well, thank you, Bogdan. Thank you, everyone, for listening and watching.
For the
We're
magical
super
invitation, and I'm looking forward for tomorrow. And let's see how much of my weird I'm willing to unhide.
Bogdan, you have to come shirtless tomorrow.
I will, and I will open the camera.
So if nothing else, I'll bribe you all. Bogdan's going to come naked tomorrow, so you should just come. It's worth the $40.
Okay. It's for a good cause. So, I mean, 10% of this will go to the pathetic Superman fund. we can buy super tissue for Superman when he blows his nose. The regular one don't hold, so he needs a special kind of tissue.
Super kind.
The super tissues.
We're gonna call them the pathetic Superman tissues.
No, super pathetic Superman tissues. Yeah.
And they'll have Superman with his cape around him like this, hiding in the closet.
No, I don't want you to see me like this. I just flew again.
I couldn't help myself. I flew again.
It was an apple too far for me to get a ladder, and I was so hungry. You must understand me.
Well, if for no other reason, you could just come for comic relief. Whatever. Thank you, Bogdan. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
We see you tomorrow.
Bye.
Bye.